Hello everyone, this is day 10 of 15 days of DAX. Today we are going to explore advanced time intelligence functions. These functions allow for deeper date-based analysis such as finding first and last date in a period, calculating date ranges, and determining month-end values. Today we are going to cover dates between first date, last date, end of month, start of month, and at the end we are going to see the challenge for day 10. So let's begin with our first function, which is dates between function. The dates between function returns a table containing dates within a specified range. So this is the syntax for dates between function, in which we need to specify the dates and we need to give the start date and end date. The use case of this function is to calculate total sales in the last 90 days. So in this example, we are trying to calculate the total sales amount for last 90 days. So we are using calculate function in order to modify the filter context for our calculation, which is sum of sales amount. And in the filter we are specifying the dates between functions so that it takes the dates between the specified dates. So here we are specifying the date column in our sales table, and the start date will be 90 days before today's date and end date will be today's date. So this will give us the dates starting from the last 90 days. The dates between function defines a custom date range dynamically, and it is used for rolling period or flexible time-based calculations. And it is commonly used inside calculate to filter measures based on specific date intervals. Next function is first date. It returns the earliest or first date in a column or filter context. The use case is to identify the date of the first recorded sale. So here, if we use first date, this will give us the first date in the sales date in the date column in the sales table. The first date function returns the earliest date in the current filter context, and it always returns a single date value wrapped as a table, and it always returns a single date value. It is commonly used with time intelligence functions for dynamic period calculations. Next, we are going to see last date, which is the opposite of first date function. So as expected, it returns the latest or last date in the column or filter context. The use case is to find the most recent sales date in the data set. This is the DAX for last sale date, last date, date column from sales table. It returns the latest date in the current filter context. It is the opposite of first date, and it is commonly used for trend analysis, cumulative measures, and time-based comparisons. Next, we will see the end of month function. It returns the last day of the month for specified column or context. The use case is to get total sales for the last day of each month. End of month sales is equal to calculate sum of sales amount, end of month sales date. This will calculate the sales amount for the last day of the month based on the context. The end of month function returns the last day of the month in the current filter context. It is useful for time-based aggregations and period closing calculations. It is often combined with calculate for month-end analysis and reporting, similar to what we have done here. So here we are calculating the sales amount for last day of the for last day of each month. And the last function we are going to see is start of month, which is the opposite of end of month. It returns the first day of the month for the specified column or context. Similar to end of month, we can calculate the sales performance at the beginning of each month by using this DAX measure. It returns the first date of the month in the current filter context, and it is commonly used for monthly trend analysis and calculating opening balances. And it is the complement of end of month for comparisons and reporting. Now we are going to see the challenge for day 10. So imagine you have a sales orders table with the following columns: order date and sales. You need to write a DAX measure to calculate the total sales for the last 3 complete months dynamically based on the selected date range. So in order to solve this, we need to use multiple DAX functions. So first we will use calculate function in order to calculate the sum of sales, and we need to get the last 3 complete months. For that, we are using dates between function. So sales orders, order date, this is the date, and we need the complete month. So we will take start of month, and we need to move our current selected date 3 months back. So we are using date add function here, and selected date -3, and the interval is month. So this moves the date 3 months back, and since we are taking start of month, it will take the start month, and similarly for end of month, it will take the end of the month, and it will calculate the sales amount for last 3 months. So this is the explanation. Dates between function defines the date range for the calculation. Selected date retrieves the date from the current filter context. Start of month gets the first day of the month from 3 months prior to the selected date. End of month finds the last day of the previous month relative to the selected date, and calculate applies the new filter context to some sales within this range. Now let's see how to implement these functions in Power BI Desktop. I have sales orders table in Power BI Desktop, and these are the columns that this table has. We have order ID, product, sales, quantity, order date, and region. So let's see the implementations of these functions one by one. It is first date. So here we are taking order date column and we are trying to get the first date so that we know which one is the first date in the order date, which is basically the earliest date, and last date. Also, we are trying to get the last date using last date function. And then we will see sales between dates. Sales between dates is used to calculate the sales based on the dates that we specify. So here we are using dates between function in order to get the order dates starting from January 2022 to December end 2022. So when we specify like this, it will calculate the sales between these two dates. Next, we have sales end of month using calculate function, and inside that we are using sum of sales, and we are specifying end of month. Next, we have start of month, which is basically calculating the sum of sales for start of each month. In this first card visual, I am using sales between dates, so it will calculate the 2022 sales, and it will display the data based on the dates that we specify inside dates between function. Next, we are taking the first date. We are using first order date measure here. And in this third card visual, we are using last order date. And in this table, we are using product order date sorted by order date, starting from earliest order date to the latest order date. And we are using sales column. And after that, we are using sales start of month and sales end of month. So here you can see that for each month, it will get the start of month and end of month into these two measures that we created. So for first month, which is January 2022, you can see that start of month sales is 1355 because this is the earliest date in this particular month that this measure has found. Similarly, for sales end of month, it finds the last date that we have in our data set for this particular month. So the last date sales is 683 and first date sales is 1355. Similarly, for other months also, you can see how the start of month and end of month is calculated. So this is how you can use these functions